Okay.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Mina Jane. I'm the director of the Ashland Public Library in Massachusetts, and I'm super excited to be here with Joseph Finder, who was going to be making recommendations for mysteries and thrillers, and apparently women's fiction, because he just recommended Taylor Jenkins Reid, or historical fiction, I think. Yes, and she did write Daisy Jones. I don't know if you all saw the show, but it's awesome.
Oh, good.
But a reader is a reader. We read everything, right? So I do want to thank Joseph for being here and also the Friends of the Ashland Public Library for supporting all of our programs and for Joe who let us share this program with other libraries because of course when libraries work together we make magic. So we um, we are going to talk recommendations. We have half an hour, and if you have thoughts of if you're reading something that you love, please put that in the chat. And I know somebody said to not comment throughout, but I do use the chat to pull recommendations for the list I send out afterwards. So Sharon, if you don't like it, turn off the chat function on your Zoom. Joe, thank you so much for being here, and
Great to be here.
I am excited to hear what you have to talk about today.
Absolutely. So I'm going to be recommending four books. And let me start with one um, by Tess Gerritsen.
Oh, yes.
So Tess Gerritsen is terrific, a terrific writer. And this is called The Summer Guests. I also read, this is the second in a series she has, what she calls the Martini Club,
Hmm.
which is retired CIA people um, in a town in Maine who get involved with solving crimes. And what was the name of her first one? Let me just see. Um,
The Spy Coast.
the Spy Coast. That's right, exactly.
Hmm.
So, and this one is the same concept. The Martini Club, ex CIA people all get together, working with the local police chief in town and solving a homicide that gets kind of complicated.
Hmm.
And I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Hmm. What did you like about it?
Um, I like her concept of the retired CIA people all
Hmm.
in one town. That sort of appeals to me.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
yeah, and her style of writing is very good, very narrative, very she's a good storyteller.
Hmm.
That's what I
Yeah.
appreciate most about Tess.
Hmm.
You're in really good hands when you start reading one of her books.
It's true. I actually hosted her and Hank Philippi Ryan at my library last year when this was it last year or when the Spy Coast came out. And
Hmm.
it was amazing the way that she described, how she came up with the idea
Hmm.
and the fact that there aren't that many detectives. Like, I mean, like there's, murders she wrote and things like that, but there aren't that many detectives that are older women.
Right.
So she really dug into that, and I find that awesome. And the fact that she's not just some schmo sitting around on a typewriter.
Hmm.
I loved Murder, She Wrote, by the way. But she's an actual CIA agent, so she has
Right.
the skills, right?
Has those skills exactly,
Right.
and it makes it different.
Hmm. Right. So she's not like rolling over the local detectives because she just has an idea.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Richard Osmond. Is it? Is that his name? Uh,
Hmm.
who wrote the Thursday Murder Club? Do I have it right?
Is that the Thursday Murder Club? Help us out here, people. Yep, yep.
Yeah, it's a bunch of retirees in a retirement home
Hmm.
in England, and they always get involved in solving a crime. It might be drug related, whatever, and it's very appealing.
Hmm.
So the idea of these sort of older detectives, which we don't really have. I mean, detectives, investigators tend to be, in their 30s and 40s or unspecified age, but they're younger.
Hmm.
Um, in this case of Richard Osman, in the case of Tess Gerritsen, they're older, retired, and it's very appealing. It really is.
Yeah, you have a certain knowledge as you get older that people discount.
Right, right,
Also,
exactly.
Tess said something really interesting is that people don't pay attention to older people.
Hmm.
And so they can easily get tied into these kind of things.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, I know. Miss Marple, yeah, she can get in anywhere.
Uh,
Love it. For all his Agatha Christie. Marple is Agatha Christie, right?
yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're definitely testing our brains with all the names and everything. But I think the Richard Osman books, are you guys hearing an echo from me?
I don't.
You don't. Okay. Then it's just me. I think the Richard Osman book has just become a TV show.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry about my echo. I don't know what's going on with that. Um,
Oh,
ooh,
so people do hear it.
yes. So, crap. I'm going to turn my video off and see if that helps. Okay. Now it's just you, just you and me, Michelle, but they can only see you. Okay. Does everybody, echo's gone, right? Okay. So, anyways, Richard Osman's book has become a show, which we haven't seen. And did you know that Tess Gerritsen, this book, The Spy Coast, and this second book are going to be an Amazon series?
I didn't know that. I know she was talking about it, the possibility, but I didn't know that was going to happen for sure.
It
Wow.
is. She said that she signed with Amazon because they told her that they would also include in the deal that it would become a TV show.
Okay, that's terrific. So,
Yeah.
did you know anything more about when it's going to happen, or whether it's shooting now or being written?
I don't know the details,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
But that's something I would really look forward to, even though I'm not a fan of Amazon. I would
Mhm.
obviously watch anything that Tess puts out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, exactly. And the Richard Osman series, is that on yet or not? I don't think so.
I don't think so, but I thought it was the one with Tom Hanks. I feel like it is, but I'll look that up while we're talking about the next book.
Okay,
So yes, Tess Gerritsen, everybody read her.
okay, okay. Next, this is interesting. It's, can you see it? The light is coming in from the window, but it's called Fox by Joyce Carol Oates. Richard Osman's series is with Helen Mirren and Pierce Brosnan. That's
Oh,
exactly
that's right.
very
Yes.
good. Thank you,
Thank
Trisha.
you, Trisha.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'll watch anything with Pierce Brosnan in it. I'm a
Yeah.
child of the 80s.
Bobland. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Mhm.
Anyway, Joyce actually sent me this book, and we're friends. And she said this is her first whodunit under her own name, and it's an interesting book because, and first of all, it's big, it's long, it's like 650 pages, and it is beautifully written. Joyce Carol Oates is just one of the great sentence writers we have, one of the great writers.
Mhm.
And so it is about a very popular English teacher in his private school, the Langhorne Academy, and he, um, his body is found at the beginning of the book, and a detective gets involved, and the school is involved, and it turns out that I don't think I'm giving too much away to say that the teacher um, is behaves inappropriately with young girls, his students, which he selects, and the question is whether one of the parents might have murdered him. Um, so it's a very kind of creepy, interesting plot, and it is. She has her style is not only do I love her sentences, but her style is very hypnotic. You feel sort of drawn into the world, and it's very dreamy. Um, she evokes the senses, all the senses, and the result is something very, very atmospheric and very dreamy. Um, so, and the description is on the cover: a spellbinding novel of literary and psychological suspense about the dark secrets that surface after the shocking disappearance of a charismatic, mercurial teacher at an elite boarding school. Um, anyway, if you are interested in whodunits and mysteries, this is a mystery. If you're willing to sort of take on a big book, um, and one that is um, uh, that sort of sucks you in as soon as you get into it, I think it pays off. I think you'll like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna try again and see if I get that echo. But I always thought Joyce Carol Oates wrote literary fiction, not mysteries. So I'm
Right.
not surprised that any mystery she writes would be incredibly lyrical.
Yes, exactly. It's lyrical and literary, and uh, it's a durable mystery. I mean, we don't know we don't know who done it. We begin to wonder. We have our suspicions. There's a police detective who works with this woman who's the head of the school. Nikki is asking, what name did she use for her mysteries? Um, Rosamund Smith. Do I have that right? I'm just guessing.
Did Joyce Carol Oates have a pen name?
She did. She writes so much and so fast. Um,
I'm gonna look this up.
can you look up what Joyce Carol Oates' pen name is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kept your attention though for 650 pages?
I think it's the mood and the effectiveness of her suspense.
Hmm.
Uh, it's not a fast moving book. It's sort of slow, but she makes up for that with this kind of slow burn suspense.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, Rosamund Smith, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I just
I don't know how I would call that up, but I did. Um,
I'm impressed.
yeah. So
Um,
she knows how to write a mystery, but she's doing
mhm,
this under her own name
mhm.
first time.
So the thing is that because it's 650 pages and it's not a thriller, it's not like this constant action. So
Right.
you have to be willing to like really put in the time to be absorbed by her words.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I
Yeah.
think the fact that she writes literary fiction really plays to that. So she can write the mystery part. That's this like who, like you said, who done it. Did you know who done it like early on? Did she give you enough clues?
She gave clues. I thought I knew the answer, and I was surprised by the answer at the end. So I didn't guess it. Uh,
Hmm.
and it was somebody who you don't necessarily suspect, uh, which and is very plausible, very well done. Um, so as a mystery, it's very solid. It really works well. But it's interesting to be reading a literary mystery.
Hmm.
You know,
Why was it called Fox?
Fox is the last name of the charismatic teacher
Oh, okay.
who
The
turns out to have a very tangled history,
hmm
um, yeah, which she relates to us.
hmm
It's interesting.
So somebody like Joyce would probably like some mysteries you don't get a lot of backstory on characters and it's just plot. Did you
Mhm.
feel like this was more in depth?
Yes, she and her characters are really fully fleshed out. Um, the head of the school, some of the parents, the detective, um, they're real well-rounded characters, and she takes the time to do the full characterization.
Hmm.
So yeah, it it works really well.
Mhm. I love that because then you do feel like, how could I have missed that? She explained it so well. She characterized all of these people I should have known, but
Yes.
it's a sign of a really good writer, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So she can write mysteries too. She can do anything. It's amazing.
I follow her on Instagram. Or maybe Blue Sky. And I think she's a hoot.
Yeah.
Um, so she's not just like this literary, serious person. She's
It's
really
a-
interesting.
yeah. Yeah. I like
Um,
her.
so what's next?
All right. Two books remain. This one is Scott Turow's Presumed Guilty. His big, huge breakthrough novel was called Presumed Innocent. This is Presumed Guilty. And it's nobody writes legal thrillers better than Scott Turow.
Hmm.
He's just got this nailed down.
Hmm.
And it's the protagonist of this book is the protagonist in Presumed Innocent, the same lawyer, Rusty Savage.
Hmm.
But now he's in his 70s. Now he's old.
Hmm.
And Thoreau really delves into that.
Hmm.
And so he decides to defend the adopted African American son of his lover. So his lover's son um, is accused of killing this young woman, and Rusty believes that he's innocent, but all the evidence, of course, points to the fact that he's not. And it's a really terrific plot. And Thoreau is also a great writer. Um, I will say it's a little slow. It took me a while to get into it.
Hmm.
Uh, it's a slow burn. So you've got to be patient, but then it begins to accelerate, and it pays off in the end too.
Hmm. As you would expect with a Tarot.
Yeah, yeah. So I haven't read all of his books, but I've read several after Presumed Innocent, and Presumed Guilty really stands up.
Okay.
Really does.
So I have a few questions, of course.
Yeah,
Why do you think he would wait 40 years to do this second book? Because I remember when Presumed Innocent came out. You all, like for anybody in the audience, I'm sure you do too if you were
yeah,
of an age.
yeah.
But it was 40 years ago. So
Amazing.
what?
Is that right?
Yeah, child of the 80s, I keep saying it. But
Right.
yeah, so is it because he didn't? Well, let's assume, let's write our own story. So do you think it's because he didn't want to play off of that? Like he didn't want to, oh, I'm echoey again. I'll be back. Um, do you think it's because he didn't want to like, oh, I'm still echoey. Joe, talk about that for a minute. I came back early or before and it worked out fine.
Okay. So why did he wait so long to bring back Rusty? I think Rusty was in several other books, I believe. I haven't read them all, as I said. Um, but I think that Thoreau, who is probably in his 70s by now as well, wanted to write something about an older character um, who was around his age. And the love affair um, between Rusty and this woman is very interesting. And so I think that Thoreau really wanted to say something about older characters. This seems to be a theme tonight, like
Mhm.
Tess Gerritsen's.
Mhm.
Um, uh,
Well,
And
Cindy said that it's the 13th in a series.
mhm.
So he's Rusty's been in books for in
No,
13.
I don't think he's been in 13 books.
Okay, no. That didn't that but I like that concept of him having grown and we get to see him again. Like even if
Yeah,
he played parts in other books, that this is his book again. And
yeah.
I don't remember the details of Presumed Innocent, but I think he ended up with somebody. Did he, is that the same person that he's with now?
No, no, it's not.
Okay. Interesting. The plot thickens.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
But the trial in Presumed Innocent figures into this story as well. It sort of echoes into this.
hmm,
Uh,
okay. It's nice that he's like speaking to those that of us that remember when Presumed Innocent came out and it was such a
yeah,
huge hit. And
yeah. It was like 1985 or something like that,
mhm,
or 86, right around there.
yeah,
Um, and it was huge. It was a huge hit,
right.
and it just sold for years. And it's a terrific. Presumed Innocent is a terrific thriller. I mean,
Hmm.
you get caught up in it. It grabs you, and you're it. He's got a great ending, surprise ending at the end, twist.
Hmm.
Um, if you haven't read Presumed Innocent, I would read that before reading Presumed Guilty.
Yeah.
You've got to read Presumed Innocent, but I can't imagine there's anyone who hasn't read Presumed Innocent who likes legal thrillers, because he is the best legal thriller writer around. He
Hmm.
really is. He's fantastic.
So I just have to make one more comment before we go to the last book is that um, Scott Turow was up against John Grisham at that time. So for
Yes,
him to make a name for himself is impressive.
yes, that's right. And Grisham's stories are not all legal thrillers. They involve lawyers, but they're not, I wouldn't call them all legal thrillers. Um, they're more mainstream thrillers, Grisham's are.
Hmm.
But Thoreau's always involve a courtroom.
Hmm. Yep. And
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
believe,
both great authors,
yes,
but
they
I just
are.
remember the two of them back in the 80s, like duking it out.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Okay, we have one last book and it's a doozy.
And I love this book. It's called Crooks by Lou Berney. Now, um, it says here it's not coming out until September, but September's coming up soon. The summer's going to zip by, and then it's going to be September. So Crooks, Lou Berney is sort of a new writer and a fantastic writer. Uh, Crooks is about the Mercurio family, who are criminals, and the dad and the mom are both hustlers and criminals, and they're working in Las Vegas, and they are forced to leave. They flee. They go to Oklahoma, and uh, and then what he does is he breaks the story apart, so we get each child in the family. Each one has his or her own section, and it's so well done. Um, you've got the five kids, and they're very different. Um, my favorite is the daughter Alice, who's like incredibly smart and sarcastic and very capable. And I think he should bring her back in another story. Anyway, uh, his prose writing is terrific. Uh, it just carries you along. It really does. It's just um, the idea of having five characters in five separate sections that all kind of come together at the end. That was a technique used in William Goldman's Boys and Girls Together a long time ago,
Mhm.
and it works really well. So, and I think this is a hoot. This is such a fun novel to read. And I recommend it really highly.
Mhm.
I thought it was a terrific book.
So the 5 sections, is that
Mhm.
because we're getting perspectives from the 5 children about the mystery?
Um, no. Interestingly, each of the kids gets involved in their own plot. And it's not an overarching mystery. Each one is involved. We've got this one guy son who's very good looking and kind of a schmoozer and a hustler. And he goes to Los Angeles and gets involved in Hollywood. And we've got one who's sort of a hitman in Las Vegas who wants to stop being a hitman and escapes from that. Um, so each story is very different in the 5 sections, but it's really rich. It's
Mhm.
so good.
And he's able to bring it all together in
Yeah,
that last chapter.
all the kids and the parents come together at the end in one last chapter, and it's a lovely book. I really loved it.
Excellent. It sounds like The Sopranos, only nicer.
Yeah, yeah, it's got a Sopranos feeling to it.
Hmm.
Um, but the the kids are different, very different, and very interesting, and they each get involved in good separate plots.
Hmm.
I thought it was really well done.
Hmm. It's interesting that he wrote one book with 5 basically different plots and then put it all together rather than 5 maybe short stories or something.
Right, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what was his purpose, do you think?
I think to show the effect of the parents on the kids ultimately.
Hmm.
The parents are criminals. The kids don't want to be criminals. There's a great line in the back of the book that says, they say the American dream is going farther in life than your parents ever did. But how does that work if your parents are criminals?
Hmm.
Um, and so each one of the kids, they inherit that criminality, but they don't want to use it. Don't want to be criminals. Someone just asked if the title is Presumed Guilty. Yes, Presumed Guilty for the Scott Turow.
That was a Scott Churro, but right now we're talking about Crooks by
Lou Berney.
Bernie. Yeah. And
Yeah.
does this book come out in September?
Comes out not till September.
Okay. All right. So
Uh,
keep a lookout for it,
he
people.
sent it to me for a blurb, and when I do a blurb, I read the book, and I really love this one, and I think
Awesome.
you will too. I think you're going to hear a lot about Lou Berney.
Hmm.
I think he's going to become a really big writer.
You heard it here first, everyone.
Yes,
So we are out of time. I just wanted to say really quickly that Joe, this is his second session with us, and he's not, and so it's his last session with us for the year. But Hank Philippi Ryan is actually going to step in and do our 2 finals for this year, and I just really appreciate you coming in and doing these recommendations with us. They've been fabulous.
great. It's been a lot of fun.
Good. I'm glad for you too, because
Yeah,
I have gotten lots of like stuff for my TBR pile.
yeah,
All right, everybody. Happy reading. I'll send out the list in the video to you. And Joe, I'm sure I'll be in touch soon. I hope you take care.
absolutely. Thank you, Mina. Good to
Okay.
talk.
Have a good night, everyone.